This line is in one dimension, this square lies in two, and this cube lies in three dimensions. For many of us, this is where the very concept of reality comes to an end. Everything is in these three dimensions: length, width, and height. How we conceive space and movement is either forwards or backwards, left or right, up or down. But is there more to life than this? Our architecture, our education, our dictionaries all tell us that space is three-dimensional. The Oxford English Dictionary defines it as a continuous area or expanse which is free, available, or unoccupied. The dimensions of height, depth, and width within which all things exist and move. If we go to our cube and try to conceive an additional dimension, we simply would not be able to comprehend it. To help explain why a four-dimensional object is inconceivable, I'll borrow from Carl Sagan. In his explanation of the fourth physical dimension, he started by explaining the third dimension from the point of view of someone only bound to two of these dimensions. The distortion and inability to understand what's going on would only be normal. He says, imagine we're all living in the two dimensions of width and length, without height. We know of forwards or backwards, left or right, but not of up or down. If a three-dimensional being visits us, the scenario would play out something like this.
Let us imagine that into flatland, hovering above it, comes a strange three-dimensional creature which, oddly enough, looks like an apple. And the three-dimensional creature sees an attractive, congenial-looking square, watches it enter its house, and decides in a gesture of interdimensional amity to say hello. Hello, says the three-dimensional creature. How are you? I am a visitor from the third dimension. Well, the poor square looks around his closed house, sees no one there, and what's more, has witnessed a greeting coming from his insides, a voice from within. He surely is getting a little worried about his sanity. The three-dimensional creature is unhappy about being considered a psychological aberration.
See how odd that would be for the being trapped in two dimensions to try to understand three dimensions. It's heavily distorted. Us ourselves being trapped in three dimensions cannot fully understand a fourth. Enter the tesseract. No, not that tesseract. Although if that one were real, that would be an extremely cool and cost-effective way to travel. But I'm talking about a real tesseract, a four-dimensional shape. One that is impossible to comprehend in a world where we are limited by three dimensions. But if we could try our best, it's like a cube within another cube with all the vertices connected somehow. A tesseract is to a cube what a cube is to a square and what the square is to a line. The possibility of an additional dimension expands the universe as we know it, and many people have explored this concept in the past, naming time and gravity as additional possible dimensions. String theorists believe there's a total of 10 dimensions, although not entirely capable of proving it because, well, that's just quite unfathomable. One of my all-time favorite explorations of additional dimensions is 2014's Interstellar. In this film from legendary and revolutionary filmmaker Christopher Nolan, the protagonist Cooper flies too close to a black hole and ends up in an actual tesseract. He is no longer in a space bound by three dimensions, as he is in the fourth, and has the ability to navigate and control things that only beings of a higher dimension would have been able to. He argues that the beings in the higher dimension who are helping him are human beings, but just not from our time. You see, Cooper believes that there are dimensions that we just haven't discovered and are not able to understand. So do I. The implications of a fourth dimension, time, in space gives us the chance to begin to explore playing around with things like space-time, and that in itself has limitless possibilities, some of which not even strictly speaking theoretically possible. Now, even though many may consider things like Interstellar and talk of additional dimensions to be purely works of science fiction, I do believe that science fiction is indeed a precursor to science fact, and one day, maybe, we will unlock the secrets of these higher dimensions. Hey guys, it's Tao. Thanks for getting to the end of the video. Please like and leave a comment down below. Also, if you hadn't subscribed, please do so and share the channel with a friend.